me see. I think is my screen good. All right, shalom. Y'all Bashim Yahshua Bagathum to the brothers, and shalom Yahweh Shema Alathan Bashim Yahushua to the sisters. With the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Command General Yohana. And we're not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. And tonight's class is the Lashawan Qadash class, a very important class to attend. We never want to not participate in these Hebrew classes, man. Like Hebrew, you want to focus on that Hebrew. Learn your Hebrew. All right. Study your Lashawan Qadash. Study the language. It's a part of our culture. It's a part of our history. There's a lot of words that give the scripture so much more meaning to it. All right. Let me, gives the scripture so much meaning to it once you know these words in Hebrew. The Bible even talks about it. I thought I had it up real quick, but let me get that KJV real quick. That Nana, here we go. Let me see. Here we go. So like it. There we go, right here. This should have the Apocrypha in it right here. And we're gonna go to Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha. It might say, okay, it doesn't say that. It says it right here. Ecclesiasticus. And we're gonna get verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1. And then it should be in the interlude. The same thing that I'm saying. Just so you guys know, I'm not saying anything opposite of what the Bible is saying. And it says, for the same things I'm going to highlight it. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. Like we want to pay attention to what the Bible is trying to tell us, man, or pay attention to what the Lord is trying to tell us. Like it's very important to learn this language. You can understand the Bible so much once you truly start getting into it. Right? Once you really start getting into it. So, make this one of your first priorities. Um, did everybody get that study material and been able to use it? Has everybody been able to get that study material and actually use that study material that I was referring to the previous classes? Is anybody aware of that? Anybody on that? Let me see. And shalom, Yahweh Khan. Is everybody good on that study material? I believe I spoke to Trooper Yagadar about it. I haven't seen how to give it permission to it yet. Still can't open it, right? I would probably have to get in contact with Officer Marah, and he may not be the easiest to get in contact with. So let me see if I can do something with it now. All right, let me see. Because he may not have, when he shared those links with us back in 2017, he may have had it for us to use, but now it might be a little different. So let me see if I can do something with that. So just bear with me real quick. See if I can do anything with it. Just give me a second, Aki. Let me see if I can fix that issue real quick. Because in the meantime, just give me a little bit of time. Salaki. Just give me a little time so I can fix that issue for y'all. In the meantime, we got the Hebrew prefixes on the board. If you guys don't have any All right, shalom. All right, so here we go. Let me see if I can just. Let me see if I can do this. Just give me 1 second, Akim. All right, Salaki, I'm trying to see if I can get this up and running for y'all so I can see, so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So just bear with me, Bubba Rashad. I'm trying to get everything situated. It seems like it won't allow me to do this. Okay, maybe I gotta double click it. Okay, we back at it. All right. So I'm gonna have that on the screen real quick. Just bear with me with that. And then I believe I have. I'm gonna try to get. So I'm gonna try to for Trooper Yagador. I'm gonna try to get that situated with y'all. If anyone else needs these extra notes, just let me know. I'm working on them right now, real quick, and then we're gonna get into tonight's lesson, go over a few things. We're gonna look at some of the things I want you guys to look at. All right. So just bear with me, maybe another 5 minutes or less. Okay, Khan. Most High Christ. Okay, I'm back at it. We get Khan says, I got you. You said you like extra notes as well. Make sure you put your email in the live chat so I can take it down and I'll send you these notes. Trooper Yagadar, I'm going to resend those notes to you. And I'm gonna resend them through my email instead. All right, instead of sharing the email that I shared, I'm going to send it through my email, through my drive to make sure you have access to it. All right. If anybody else wants these notes, if those notes didn't work for you last time, if you're running into the same issues that Trooper Yakador went through, that it may not allow you to access those documents, just re-put your email in the live chat and and I'll get that information to you as soon as possible. It may even be tonight, and I'm going to look at it as well. So let's hit that alphabet first. Of course, you guys know these Hebrew prefixes. I wanted that on the screen so you guys can put that into your notes as well. You want to know those Hebrew prefixes, right? Those prefixes come in handy. Now, once you guys get skilled enough, so like once you guys start getting real skilled, and when you get skilled enough in learning the Hebrew, so like you have, okay, let me see. So of course you have something called Blue Letter Bible, all right, and the majority of our records are going to be written in the Assyrian script. I think it was already up, right? And this is Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 26, and this is what it's going to look like. The alphabet is going to allow you to somewhat be able to read this. That's the start. The start is to get you to understand this, all right, to get you started. And eventually you're going to learn different rules and different parts of grammar to really start reading the Hebrew. And it's not as hard as you think. All right, like Nehemiah 13, verse 26, the first you have, this is your ha, your la, your y, and your ah is halawah. You have a I and a la, you have your I and your la is I'll. Then you have a ah, a la, and a ha is Allah, not Allah, because that ha would be dropped and then it would be Allah, Allah, or it would just be all depending on the word. But of course, it's pronounced Allah, meaning like power. All right. It is not now. I, allow me to say this. Allah means power in the Hebrew. That's not the Allah in Islam. Now there have been arguments to say that that is where it comes from. Don't do that. You're gonna break it. Don't do that. So there have been arguments that say Allah is that comes from the Hebrew Allah. Of course, could that be true? It's a possibility. All right. I would not teach it because it's not fully verified yet. All right. Now, Arabic is an Aramaic language. I wouldn't be surprised that they took Allah and made it the name of God. And no, Allah in our language just means like a power. All right. In this case, it meaning these things or things. All right. But Allah or Allahayim, those things mean power, referring to the angels. All right. And etc. and things like that. All right. But this is Halawa al Allah Khata'a Shalama, which is Solomon's name, Malak King Yasha Allah. So this is so you see how it says Shalama Malak? Instead of saying Malak Shalama, it's Shalama Malak Yasha Allah. Shalama Malak Yasha Allah. Can anybody tell me why the name is first and Malak is second? Shalama Malak. Can anybody tell me why Shalama Malak and not Malak Shalama? Does anybody want to give me a guess why it's Shalama Malak and not Malak Shalama? Anybody want to give that a guess? Why it's Malak, not why it's Shalama Malak Yasha Allah and not Malak, and it's not Malak Shalama Yasha Allah. It is common to see Malak after the person's name and it's saying King Solomon. Does anybody remember why this is it? Does anybody remember me teaching about adjectives and things like that? Does anybody remember? Somebody tell me, why is it Shalama Malak and not Malak Shalama? Not because right to left reading. Not necessarily. I mean, you're not exactly. That is true. It's not right to left reading. Right. Well, I mean, right to left reading. That is true, but not necessarily. Because is it because it's masculine? But that was a good answer. It wouldn't be right to left reading, by the way, Chuba Yakadar, because we are reading right to left automatically, and you would still be reading right to left if it's Malak Shalama, and instead of, well, it still be you can still write Malak Shalama right to left because you're still reading right to left, but it's not so much the reason because of right to left. But that was a good answer though, true. But young man, is it because it's masculine? Not quite. Good answer though, but not quite. If you, I'm gonna give you guys the answer for time's sake too as well. The reason why it's Shalom Malak because this is like a title, and because it's like a title, the title that Malak is used as like a description. You're describing something, and so adjectives always come after the noun that is describing. So, like, remember when I told you good morning in Hebrew is Barakwar Tawab, right? But in Hebrew, Barakwar Tawab, if you translate it to the English, it would translate exactly to morning good and not good morning. But because English, the rule of thumb in grammar in English, the adjective comes before the noun. But in Hebrew, the adjective comes after the noun. So in this case, malak is an adjective describing who Shalama is, which is the Solomon in the Hebrew. You have malak Shalama. All right. It wouldn't be malak Shalama, it would be Shalama malak saying King Solomon. And of course, King Solomon of Israel, right, which is what we see on the board or on the screen. Is it of Israel? King of Israel, something like that, referring to King Solomon, King of Israel. Exactly. Solomon, King of Israel. Malak, Yasha Allah. All right. That's why it's written that way. You will see sometimes you'll see Malak coming after still. All right. Saying King David or King, you see either Malak Dawada or you would sometimes see Dawada Malak. All right. And that just depends if that noun is being used as an adjective or not. You guys kind of get what I'm saying? So either way, what I'm pretty much saying, if you see Malak Shalama, it's not wrong. If you see Shalama Malak, it's not wrong either. In this case, Shalama Malak Yasha Allah is just saying King of Israel, Solomon, King of Israel. It's a title. All right. All right. Now, of course, it could easily be translated King Solomon of Israel. It could, but this is saying King of Israel, Shalomah, King of Israel. All right. It still means the same thing. You're saying the same thing. All right. But I wanted to bring that out because I want you guys to understand what you're seeing on the board. This is how, this is what the Hebrew is going to look like in majority of documents, right? And you want to get used to seeing these letters to be able to form these sentences you're going to be reading over time. All right. And the reason why I was bringing it up because once you get skilled enough, which you will be getting skilled, and you have no choice but to get skilled. If we go into the Bible, let me see. Let me refresh this real quick. No, should not be there. There we go. So you got the Now, if anybody wants this, just let me know. So it has the Old Testament. So once you guys get skilled enough, I don't know if I can zoom in so you guys can see that. Maybe I can. Let me see. Oh, well, that actually worked. I didn't think that's what it would do, but it did it and it worked. Can you guys see that? Let me know. Kana la'a. Let me know if you guys can see that on the board. Do I need to zoom in a little more? Most High in Christ. And so once you guys start getting a lot skilled, Most High in Christ, Most High in Christ. So if you guys could see this, okay, you guys would like a copy, no sweat, con. Make sure you guys send your emails so I can definitely send you guys a copy. So this is the Bible, Most High in Christ. Okay, Most High in Christ. I'll make sure I send it to you guys. So this right here is the Old Testament written in its original manuscript, because everybody knows that this was once, this is how the Bible was written. It wasn't written in the English like we know now. It wasn't written in the Syrian script that we know now. The majority of our records are written in the Syrian script, but there are records out there, ancient records too, that will have this language that you see on the board. And once you get skilled enough, you will start to see, you will start to understand things just a tad bit more. So you'll be able to, because remember, now you're going to have to know what these words mean. You're not going to be able to click it on to see what they mean. You're going to have to know what they mean, know when the scripture stops and starts. Like this right here. Bara'ashat bara'a alahayim av hashemayim wa'at rataza. That's verse 1. That's Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Chapter 2. Waharataza ya, Salakia. Tahor, Wabahor, Yachat, Yachashat, Al, Panya, the Hawam, Warak, Salakia, Warak, Alahayam, Marachat, all right? Salakia, Marakapath, Al, Panya, Hamayam. You know what I'm saying? Wayamar, Alahayam, Yahaya, Awar, Wayahaya, Awar. That's right there. Of course, verse 3, wa ya'amar alahayim yahaya awar wa yahaya awar. And that right there, That one scripture, we know what that is. A war meaning light. The Lord said, "Let there be light," and there was light. That's all that's saying. So if you wanna know how to speak Hebrew, or if you want to know how to say, the Lord said, "Let there be light," there is light. All right, literally, wa amor alahayim yahaya awar wa yahaya awar. All right, we can even go to it, and that's what verse 3. Let's get Genesis real quick. Quick nav. Genesis chapter 1. I went way past verse 3. Well, not way past, but almost. Come on now, go up. It's like it. The computer kind of slow. It's really the Wi-Fi I'm connected to. Right, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Now, if you look at it in the Syrian, right, it still says the same thing. Waya amor alahayim yahaya awar wa yahaya awar. But of course, when we go to the paleo, this just looks more authentic. You get my point? It just looks more authentic. It looks more ancient. You can just tell. All right, and it says the same thing. Waya amor alahayim yahaya awar wa yahaya awar. Same thing. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. It's like it. It's very important to learn this Hebrew, you know, because, by the way, like this right here, when it comes to the Sabbath service, right? If there's going to come a time, all right, like we're going to grow this Sabbath service where we're going to have copies of this right here, and we're going to read out of the Old Testament in the Hebrew, and we're going to have that right there for brothers to read in the middle. All right, we're going to have that in class. All right, I'm telling you this because I will have it, and you guys are going to read out of it. Especially if you're a trooper or a young man called up to the stadium, you guys are going to read out of this right here, and I expect you guys to be able to search through it. And of course, I'm gonna have it well organized so you know exactly what book is what and what chapter is what. Of course, all right. I'm gonna make sure you guys know that. I'm not just gonna throw you a book of papers with this and you're not gonna know nothing. I'm gonna have everything separated. All right. This is gonna be like in a binder type book, and when we open it up, it's going to be this right here, and it's going to be organized as so. That scroll that you see us have in those pictures and during the Sabbath service. I don't know if you guys ever seen it, not yet, but we hold a scroll. Within that scroll is this right here. You will see those same sheets of paper prescribed in that scroll. All right, you're going to see it one day, and we're going to open up the scroll, and I can show you that those scriptures are in that scroll lot. We're going to be rebuilding another scroll. Some of us brothers, y'all going to be you guys are going to help with building a new scroll, all right, sometime, and it's going to have that in there. All right, it's going to have all of this in there. So we're gonna make sure you guys know that Hebrew. All right. So keep that in mind. You guys want to get good enough so you guys could be able to read this. I know it probably looks like Chinese to you. It's not Chinese, but it's Hebrew. All right. So let's get the alphabet real quick. And then I'm also going to show you other things too that we're going to go over that I have for you guys. So the first letter we have is your ah. You have your ah in the Assyrian, then you have your ah in the ancient. Next is you have your ba. You have your ba in the Assyrian, you have your ba in the ancient. Next is you have your ga. You have your ga in the Assyrian, then you have your ga in the ancient. You have your da. You have your da in the Assyrian, and you have your da in the ancient. Next is you have your ha. You have your ha in the Assyrian, and you have your ha in the ancient. Okay, Truby Yagadar, Khan, absolutely. I'll just make sure you guys put your emails in the live chat. Or actually, you know what? Second thought, don't put your emails in the live chat. What you guys can do, if you guys have you brothers have the school number, I'm gonna go through the text messages to get your emails. So for the brothers, I think I already have your emails already. Don't sweat it, Salakia. That's on me. Um, but for the sister Tawana, if you have the school's number, let me know if you have the school's number. If not, I'm gonna give it to you now by verbally saying it, so you can be able to text the school's number or text the school's number your email. All right. So go ahead and just let me know if you got the school's number or not. So you got your high in the Syrian and your high in the ancient. Next, you have your wa. You have your wa in the Syrian, and you have your wa in the ancient. Now remember, when you're saying these letters, don't put too much emphasis on that ah sound. You don't want to make it sound like you're adding like a ah at the end of it, or like a ha. You know, you want to say like not. It's not za, it's za. All right, like a ah sound. It's just an ah sound. Za, za, not za, za, not za. It's za. All right. Don't make it too obvious. All right. So that's how you pronounce it. So za. You got your za in the Syrian. You got your za in the ancient. Next, you have your cha, your cha. So you got your cha in the Syrian. You got your cha in the ancient. Next is your ta. You got your ta in the Syrian. Then you have your ta in the ancient. And remember, when you pronounce it that cha, make sure you get that coughing sound, like that. You're coughing up that loogie sound. You're scratching the back of your throat sound. You want to pronounce it as cha. Your cha. You want to make sure you pronounce it, all right? Your cha. All right, your cha. So like this is your ya. You got your ya in the Syrian, and you have your ya in the ancient. Like it. Next, you have your ka. You have your ka in the Syrian, and you have your ka in the ancient. Now remember, in the Syrian, this is the ka that you'll see that's at the end of a word. So you want to focus on that. You want to make sure you look out for things like that. Like for an example, when we were at near, well, maybe I can just go back. If I press that back button, when I go back to Nehemiah automatically, let's find out. If I just go back, there we go. So we just go back, Nehemiah. This is Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 26. You see that word malak? You got your ma, your la, but that's a ka. That's what your ka is going to look like at the end of a word right there. It's going to look just like that. All right. Of course, malak means king. Okay, Khan, you have it. Okay, Khan, make sure you text the school's number. Text the school's number, your email. That's 757-550-1204 number. Just text it so I can have your email, and I'll send you that Bible, and I'll also send you those Hebrew lessons I was going to send that I'm going to be sending everybody else to as well. So let's keep that in mind. So you got your ka in the Syrian, right, and your ka in the ancient. Let's keep it moving. It's like you got your la in the Syrian, then you have your la in the ancient. Next is your ma. You got your ma in the Syrian, then you got your ma in the ancient. Next is you have your na. You got your na in the Syrian, then you have your na in the ancient. Next is your sa. You have your sa in the Syrian, and you have your sa in the ancient. Next is your I. You got your I in the Syrian, and you got your I in the ancient. Then you have your pa. You got your pa in the Syrian, then you got your pa in the ancient. Next is your taza. You got your taza in the Syrian, then you have your taza in the ancient. Next is your qua. You got your qua in the Syrian, then you have your qua in the ancient. Next is your ra. You got your ra in the Syrian, and you got your ra in the ancient. Next, you have your sha. You have your sha in the Syrian, then you have your sha in the ancient. Next is you have your tha. You have your tha in the Syrian, then you have your tha in the ancient. All right. So now, so that's the alphabet, right, y'all? Now remember, I want y'all to be very aware of something. Okay, be very aware of this. All right, learning that Hebrew and understanding that the alphabet will mean so much. Now the alphabet is going to help you pronounce these certain words. All right, those letters are going to help you pronounce certain words, help you create sentences and structure sentences. You want to understand that everything starts with the alphabet. Particular in the Hebrew, if you do not know the alphabet, you're not really going to know the Hebrew because our language is a consonant language. And because our language is a consonant language, meaning a language the sounds are similar, it's very easy to actually learn and understand. So, because it's a consonant language as well, if you don't know the alphabet, you're not going to know how to pronounce our words. Because, of course, our words are constructed of the letters from the alphabet naturally. Usually that's how it works. Whatever the alphabet is, the words are going to be constructed of those letters within the alphabet. But that sound that we have is very absolute. It's not like your English and your Spanish, where when you put certain letters together, they create different sounds and etc. It's not like that. Mostly English has that problem. Usually, mostly English has that problem because English is like a Germanic slash Latin language. Some of the letters in the English language come from the Latin and they come from a Germanic type, it's very Germanic meaning from Germany in that area. The Scandinavians, the Vikings, etc., etc. And then you have the Latin, then you have Latin, all right. Then you have Latin. That's where some of the words come from within the English. So what you really want to do is In the Hebrew, we don't have those issues where when you put an I or O and a U together, it creates some different sound. And when you put an E and an A together, it creates a different sound. When you put depending where the letters are located, they create a different sound. You can have words spelt very similar, but they are completely pronounced differently. We don't have that problem. We don't have that problem back here. All right, we don't really have that issue. So I want y'all to take a look at this as well. So when I go back here, of course you guys see this on the board. I might have to zoom back out, possibly. That's perfect. That was actually perfect how that came out. So I want you guys to look at. I want you guys to look at a few things as well. So I guess I don't have to press back on that. Let's press back on that instead. And I want you guys to look at, of course, I'll be sending you guys this. I believe this is what I'm looking for. That is not what I'm looking for. That's a bunch of code. That's a bunch of HTML code. That is not it. That is not it at all. Hold on. Thought I had it, maybe not. But let's go to vocabulary. So these are the notes that I will be sending to you guys. All right. So one thing to look at for sure, if you guys see on this board, all right, I want y'all to look at it. If I can, maybe I can view it. I'm going, I'm going to increase it so you guys can see it. Can you guys see it now? Very more clear, I'm sure. But this is called the 100 most common verbs. So we have constructed a list of the most 100 common verbs. So these notes that I'm going to send you, these are the same notes that I use to study the Hebrew language. These notes are these documents, these docs or whatever you would like to call them, these PDF files, they're going to absolutely help you speak this language. All right, they're going to help. You want to know these 100 most common verbs. Every language has common verbs that you guys use on the daily. All right, like can is a verb we use on the daily. All right, we use it on the daily. Walking, talking, speaking, we use these kind of words. Saying, we use these kind of words on the daily. The word love, hate, we use these words on the daily. These are verbs that we use on the daily. Well, these 100 most common verbs are commonly used verbs throughout the Bible, which is most commonly used verbs within our language that we can also use and speak. Like for instance, perish, which you see that right there, abad meaning perish, ahab meaning love. This is also in alphabetical order, all right, in the Hebrew, not in the English though, but in Hebrew. So you got abad, which is perish, ahab, which is love, ayab, which is hostile, a call meaning eat, amar meaning say, asap meaning gather, bawa meaning come, bakar meaning choose, bayan meaning understand, bana meaning build, bakwash meaning search out, um, gala meaning to uncover, dabar meaning to speak. All right. You got halak meaning to walk, halal meaning to shine, harag meaning to kill, zabak meaning sacrifice, zakar meaning to remember. All right. You guys want to definitely like try to commit these to memory. You want to keep going down the list to really truly remember. You got khata'a meaning to err, khaya meaning live, halal meaning pierce, chaga meaning camp, khabash like khashab meaning thick, um, tama'a meaning to be unclean, yadai meaning to know, yalak meaning to bring forth, which can also mean to walk as well. All right, it's like yalad meaning to bring forth, yalak meaning to go walk. All right, or to even go somewhere, to go or to walk. Halak and yalak are very interchangeable at times. All right. Uh Yataza'a meaning to go out. Yara meaning fear. Yerad, meaning to go down. Yerash, meaning to inherit. Yashab, meaning to settle. You see that Yerash, meaning to inherit. That's a verb. Our names come from these words. Most of our names derive from these words. Like our language is a very easy language to understand once you truly get down to study. Like my name is Yerash Amah, meaning he inherited the truth. Yerash meaning to inherit, Amath meaning truth. So Yerash Amath put together meaning he inherited the truth. All right. That's the meaning of my name. If you do not know, if you want to know what your name means in the Hebrew as well. You never want to not know what your name means. Don't be in this truth and not know what your name means. Of course, if you don't know what a brother's name means, you can ask him like, "Hey, Salakia, what does your name mean?" If he doesn't know, then that's to why that you asked him. So now he can go find out and know what his name means. Sometimes we ran into an issue one time. There was this brothers that did not know the meaning of their name, or they just forgot what the brother said their name meant. You want to remember what when you get anointed. All right, when that day comes, when you get anointed, remember what your name means, because that means something. That always stuck with me. Yerashimab, he inherited the truth. That stuck with me forever when I realized the meaning of my name. You know what I'm saying? I came into this truth, and I was named Yerashimab. I'll tell you guys a backstory. All right, a backstory. I said when I come in, I said I couldn't wait until I got my name, Akim. All right. I mean I could not wait to get my name. I couldn't wait to be able to go to camp. I just could not wait. All right. I just could not wait. I was already in all black. I damn near I thought you would thought that I was already a trooper ox. All right. I got in my all black, black boots, black shirt, black everything. I eventually got a black war scarf, and I went straight to war as a young man. I was just doing my thing, right? You would have, like I said, if everybody was wondering, well, why do you wear all black? Listen, it got to the point. Brothers and sisters would be like, why are you always in all black? My response was, well, why aren't you? You get my point? That was me. Everyone would be like, why are you not in all black? Why are you not in all black? And I'm like, well, why aren't you? I don't got the problem. You're the problem. Why aren't you in all black? Why are you not in black? I know why I'm in all black. I love it. Why aren't you? You're the one that has a problem because you're not in all black. That was the spirit that I had. And I waited and I loved. I just loved it. You know what I'm saying? But I do remember this. This is really the backstory of it. Akim Wafian. I remember I told myself because I would hear brothers' names, and I remember Captain Tazariak, and I said I want a name like Captain Tazariak. I said I want my name to have like a Tazar in it. You know what I'm saying? I said I really wanted my name to be like some some hardcore name, right? I was just praying for it, and then I was like I don't want an Amath in my name. I said it. I said I don't want to be the brother that has a Amath in his name. Don't tell me why I didn't want it. I couldn't tell you why at that time I didn't want an Amath. For some reason, I just did not want an Amath in my name. So happily, so happily, brothers. All right, so happily, sisters. My name, I got my name. All right, and I was anointed Yerashamath. And to this day, everyone tells me, even brothers and sisters outside the True Fox, they say that name is so hardcore. They say that's a hardcore name. That's cool. Their name is cool. How did you get that name? And I say, well, Yerashimach, meaning he's inherited the truth. And every time they say to me, Akim, every time they say to me, Akwakim, they say that name fits you, like that name is you. Just remember that name is truly of the Lord. I just want y'all to understand that. If you that name Mataza Al Kara is truly of the Lord. That name Yagador is truly of the Lord. I want y'all to understand that name Saryala, that name Kusha, You know what I'm saying? It's really truly of the Lord. Y'all may not believe it, but I'm telling y'all to this day, believe what I'm saying today. That name is truly of the Most High. You have no idea how much it really is. It's like a spirit that the Lord really puts on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I didn't want to be Yerushalayim, quote unquote. But them brothers and sisters in the world, I'm Yerushalayim to them. Those civilians, they know me as Yerushalayim. They say that you are Yerushalayim. They don't care what I tell them. They say you are Yerushalayim. The Lord put a spirit on that. That name that you got in here, the Lord put a spirit on that. That Anah, you are Anah. Remember that. That. That was absolutely that. And so back to these verbs, right? You want to get used to these verbs. Salaki. Why is it doing that? All right, Salaki. You want to get used to these verbs. All right. You guys want to look at these. Now, this is all information you guys are going to get. All right. And these verbs, what you want to do is study them. And the reason why you want to study them, of course, because we're going to be able to construct sentences out of these words. All right. We're going to be able to, we're going to be able to pick them out when reading the Hebrew. All right. Like we're going to be able to read them out, like to call, which is kwara'ah, like call out, which is kwara'ah. It's like mataza'ah korah. That's where his name comes from, to call out. The part of his name, to call, meaning kwara'ah or korah. Really, you could just say korah. It's not kwara'ah, but you could just say korah. Salaki. All right. So what you really want to do is truly, just study, of course. Really just study. These things really come in handy. But these are verbs I'm referring to. And so now give the screen to calibrate a little bit. It's a little slow, so like it. I'm gonna go back this way. Let's go back to vocabulary. All right. And I'm gonna send you all this information too as well. So now we're gonna go here. This is old school right here. They got right here. Now these are your vocabulary words, like nouns. All right. These are your nouns. So here we go. You got like your call, meaning to be able. Your call. All right. Your call, meaning to be able or to be able to do something. Your call. All right. You got above, which is my aisle. Accident. Like that was an accident. Asawan. Your address. Or to address something. Kasabath. Advice. Aitazah. Afraid. Pachad. Right? After. Achar. Against. Nagad. Age. Gayal. All meaning call. All right. Basadar. Alone. Labad. Already. Kabar. Altar. Mazabak. Always. Damyad. All these words right here. Ancient, Zaquan, among, Bayan, always, Damyad. Even got the that pronoun right there. Now, of course, we know that pronoun, the Hebrew prefix, wa, meaning and. Of course, to know how to use it. All right. You will, of course, figure that out. You got mala'ak, meaning angel. You got mashak, meaning to anoint. Mashak. Not mashak, but mashak. You got anointed, which is mashiach. You got answer, which is aina. Aina, not ana, like the sister Anna, no, but aina, which is to answer. Which I believe to question as well is aina. To question and to answer is aina. All right, if you did not know. Answer and question is aina. Appoint, wa'aid. You got ascend, which is ayla. Let's see. We got it's moving a little slow. You got approach, which is nagash, arise, or rise meaning quam, around meaning around, shabayab, arrange, sadar, artist, tazayar, as meaning ka, ascend, ayla, ask meaning sha'al, all right, ask is sha'al. Now, when I mean now, ask is sha'al. Ask and question are two different words, by the way. All right. To ask a question, you would say sha'al aina. For example, Day of Atonement, Yawam Kapawar, Yawam Kapawar. There you go, baby. Dayanawap, back, gob, bad, rye, bag, yellow kawat. It's like your yellow kawat. You got your bake, which is a pod, like to bake something. Banana, banana. That's just a transliteration. Banana. It's just a transliteration. I don't think I can highlight that. Bank, banak, baptized, to ball, base, which is nabazar, bastard, mamazar, bath, amabat, battle, qarab. Like these are the different, so these sheets that you're going to be getting, all of this, you got words all the way down there to Z. All right, there's different sections of them. I've been for the longest time now. With there's certain ones I still need like seven. I still need. I got 5, 6. I need 7, 8, 9, 10. I need 7 and 11. I need. Don't know if they're missing in history, and that's why I don't have them. But you got all the way up to Z over here, like different words. I'll get that on the screen for y'all. So I clicked on it. So like, you give me that screen. Sometimes it's just it don't want to work for me. It's going a little slow. So these are all the different types of notes that you're going to be getting. All right, here you go. So different words right here. You got to visit, which is bakwar. Right, you got voice, which is kawal. Right, kawal, like kawal yala, the voice of the Lord. Void, which is bahar. Right, bahar. You got vow, nadar, like nadar ya'ala, a vow of the Lord, nadar ya'ala, right? Or nadarwan, right? Nadarwan, meaning a vow. It's like a name, nadarwan, or nadar ya'ala. You got wait, chaka, walk slash go, halak, right? That's a verb though, but you're gonna find it here. Want, ratazah. That's a verb as well, to want something. Ratazah. It's like a ratazah. Ratazah. All right. Ratazah. All right. Ratazah. 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 Make sure you guys pronounce it. Ratazah. Ratazah. You can just say ratazah. Warrior Gabar was Hayatha. Waste the hall. Watch Shamar. Water Mayum. Wave Nayap. Way the rock. Weapons Ayan. Weak. Weak. Like your weeks throughout the day. Shabawai. Weight or talent. Kakar. A talent weight meaning that's like your money. Like money or like your actual weight of something. Like a talent weight. Like this referring to like a measurement. sometimes referring to money as well. That's kakar. Well, as in good, hayatab, hayatab, all right, which comes from the word tawab. Well, as in of water, ba'ar. West, ma'irab, ma'irab. Irab meaning, I believe Irab means west, referring to your like your sea. But ma'irab just means west itself. Well, no, yum. I'm thinking of yum. Yum meaning west. I believe this west is referring to yum west meaning to sea. It can mean two things, but ma'irab for sure meaning west. Ma meaning what? Mathya meaning when. Ayah meaning where. Laban meaning white. Like all these things. All right. You got different things. Corona, X-ray. All right. Transliteration. You got year. Everybody knows what I mean by transliteration, right? Just to break that down, when I say transliteration, to transliterate something, meaning these words doesn't fully some words from the English don't translate into the Hebrew. So what you would do is you would take that word in English and find the compatible letter suited to create that word. So let's say look, let's say there is a word for look in the Hebrew. But let's say for an example, there was no word for look in Hebrew. So you'll take look, and then you would take our alphabet as well, and you would say, oh well, we have an L in our alphabet. We have a word, we have a letter similar to the letter L in our letterbed, so we'll say la. We have some O's. Well, we have no real O's in our Hebrew, so we'll put a I and a Y there, right? And then for we have a ka, then we'll put a ka there, so it will sound like lock, lock, lock instead of look. And we would say lock. I just transliterated look, even though I didn't have to, but that was an example. I'm saying lock instead of look. I'm saying lock or lock, lock. You guys kind of get where I'm getting at when I say transliteration? Like that's a transliteration. That's what I mean by transliterating something. A transliteration isn't a translation. A translation is you take whatever you see and you just say it in your language. That's what a translation is. A transliteration is you take a particular word and you have to create your own word in your language because that word just doesn't exist. Like for instance, TV did not exist back then, so there's no word for television in Hebrew, but TVs are square shaped like a box, and you look at it, right? Great. You look at the TV and it's a box. TV in Hebrew, ra'adaba, meaning it's a look box. It's a looking box. It's a watch box, a C box, right? But that's television. Ra'adaba. Phone. A phone is like a box shape, right? It's like a box. It's square somewhat, right? And you talk into it. Well, we got a Hebrew word for talk or speak, which is what? The bar. And box, which is the ba. The bar. Telephone. That's transliteration. You kind of get my point, y'all. Let me know if y'all understand that part. If y'all understand that portion a little. All right. You got yeah, so which is Khan, yellow, Tazahab. Yesterday, Athmawal, young, Taza Ayar, meaning you're young, youth, Na'ir, but that's masculine only. You got Zeal, which is Chashak. You got Zealot, or Zealot, meaning which is Quanaya, zebra. Another transliteration, Zabara. Let me continue going down. All right, Zion, Tazayawan, or Tazayawan. like Captain Tazayawan. Now I get one more for y'all so you guys can see different things right there. Here we go. Like these are things you do want to know. All right. Iram meaning naked. Sham meaning name. Mapayat meaning napkin. Mazaham nasty. Go nation. Gawaya. All right. Gawaya is nation. Or Goyam or Goyam would be nation. All right. Nations. All right. Nature, Tabai, Navy, Tazaya, Near, Karab, Neat, Masadar, Need, Tazarak. That's a verb right there. Tazarak. You need something. That might not be a part of the 100 most common verbs, but we do say we need something a lot. So you might want to know that one. Tazarak. Shalayalya, negative. Neglect, Rashal, neighbor, Shakan, neither, which is or no or not, meaning la'ah, new moon, chadash, or just or new month. I'm sorry, chadash, which is just like a new moon, a new month, a month period, chadash. All right, New Year, Ra'ash Hashana, right, Ra'ash Hashanah, all right, or Ra'ash Hashanah comes from Rosh that Rosh Hashanah, but it's Ra'ash Hashanah, Ashana, all right. Then you got Akhar, meaning next, night, Layala, nose, note, Rasham, note, Rasham, north, Tazapawan, all right, Tazapawan. Observe, Shakal, occupation, Mashalak. You see how much information there is? Like all these right here, we can go all over them. We're not going to go all over them, but I just want you guys to see this. I want you guys to start studying these things too as well. Office, Masharad. This is what's going to help you. Here's a good one right here. Officer, Pakwayad. Pakwayad is how you say officer. You want to know how to say Pakwayad in Hebrew. Because if you're ever filling out reports, sometimes you have to fill out the report in Hebrew. And you have to know the different ways to say general, captain, and officer. Do you guys know how to say general in Hebrew? It's alawat. All right, alawat. Does anybody know how to say captain in Hebrew? Let's see who knows how to say captain in Hebrew. Let's see who may know this right here. I gave you general alawat. That's why we say alawat panya, meaning general on deck. Okay. To say captain in Hebrew is saran, which is saran. You got a sa and a ra and a na, which is saran. All right, saran. Saran is how you would say captain. Saran. All right. All right, saran. And of course, you have officer, which is pakwayad. Pakwayad, which is officer. Then you got oil, shaman, old, zakwan, olive, zayat, on or upon, meaning isle. You got only, which is rock, open, pathak, oppose, meaning nagad, oppress, nagash. Right? We definitely want to know how to say oppress, nagash, or all, right? All. That was sounds like all. You kind of want to like that was sound. Kind of want to go oh, like kind of drag it out a little. All right. You may not. You will see this every once in a while. Even when you speak, if you want to use it, you can, but it's not necessary, by the way. All right. Ordained meaning Thagan, order, Iraq, original, Makawar, Makwar, Makawar, original, out, Yataza, outcast, Nadak, over, Isle, Khab, meaning to owe, like you Khab, like Khabya, you owe me, right? You owe me, Khabya, you owe me, like you. Owe is more so you can use it as a verb as well, all right? Shayak, meaning own, Ba'ayol, which is owner, all right? You got ox, which is shawar, all right? And you got page, like your page, meaning dop, like the next page over dop. Then you got pain, which is ka'ab, all right? And so, but I want you to make sure, but okay, so we got that. So I want you guys to get a real glimpse of these things, all right, of what we're going to be looking at, all right? I want you to get somewhat used to it and very familiar with it. And the reason why I want you to get very familiar with it because these notes are important. All right, those documents, I'm gonna definitely send those documents out for sure because they're all going to help us. They're all really going to help us structure sentences. And I want you guys to really study because even I study them every day. I study them throughout the week so I can remember. What I try to do is like the method of my madness is what I do is I try to do a word a day or even a word a week. And I keep saying that one word to the point where I can remember them. All right. I want to be able to remember them. Like certain words now, I just remember by heart. Like tazarat meaning need, rataza meaning want. Like those are words I just remember. You know what I'm saying? Mazahan meaning nasty. We just went over these words. I remember that because I love you say like, man, that's nasty. That's mazahan. I would just say that to you. I'm like, that's mazahan. And I'll say it as if it's just normal. I will sometimes use English and Hebrew together. That's one way of learning. Don't be afraid to take baby steps into learning the Hebrew. Sometimes you may have to do a little Spanglish. You know how some people speak Spanglish, Spanish in English, because that's just one way to fully learn how to speak Spanish. All right, you might want to mix the two. So I do Hebrew and English. Everybody get my point. Zion meaning Zion. All right, Sakia. To Zion meaning Zion. You want Zayan meaning weapon. These are words that I just try to get used to. All right. I just say random words. Say it throughout the week. Shawar meaning ox, the one that we just seen. You want to just be able to remember these. There's other words that I decided to learn on my own too as well, without the vocabulary, and some of the vocabulary that helped me too, of course, just to take notes on them to remember, because these are words that I use on a daily basis. So eventually, when you get a lot better at certain things, you'll start to read the Bible and you'll be able to learn even more words. Now, are you going to know every word in Hebrew? No. Even if you read the Hebrew, you're not going to know every meaning of a word. You're going to have to look it up. You can read a book in English today and not know every word. You guys do understand that, right? You're not. Don't be ashamed because you don't know every single thing. All right. You can literally pick up a book in English right now. And English is most of our main language. No thanks to slavery and our oppressor. All right. English is our main language. And you can pick up a book right now in English and you're not going to know every word. You're going to have to pick up a dictionary and be like, what does this word mean? How do you pronounce this word? You out there struggling trying to figure out what xenophobe means or xenophobia. I think I'm saying that word right, xenophobe or xenophobia. I was reading this book right here because I like to read books. I don't know if you guys know this, but Hiroshima Month likes to read books. And there's a book called it's a good book. Let me see if you guys can see it in the screen. Can you guys see it in the screen? Maybe not. Nope. Nope. Maybe. Nope. Maybe not. Maybe you guys can't see it. Well, maybe you guys can from here. It's somewhat blocking out, I guess. It may not show. It did show at first, but it's not. Well, I'm holding a book in my hand. Just know I'm holding a goddamn book in my hand. And it's called Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. And this brother uses a lot of big words. And that's why I like to read. I like to read because I learn new words. I always loved learning new something. That's why I love the Hebrew so much because I love learning words. I think it's like a passion of mine to know as many words as possible. So I kind of fell in, and especially the Hebrew because it's our language too. I pretty much just fell in love with it. But over time, of course, I grew up wanting to learn as many words as possible in order to just, you know, to expound or expand my vocabulary, not expound, but to expand my vocabulary. And so in that book, it was called a xenophobe or xenophobia. And xenophobia is like the fear of something foreign. And a xenophobe is someone that likes foreign things, right? And those words stuck out to me in that book because the foreign part, I wanted to one day put that into my speaking and to tell black people we have to stop being xenophobes. But I'm sure Captain will disagree because we don't want to always use big words. We, not saying black people are not smart or anything, but the point is to get the message so everyone can understand the message. Not everyone's going to understand what the hell xenophobe means. Okay, now, that is one word that not everyone's ever going to hear, but I did want to use it, but I chose not to because of that reason. Okay, there's a better way to approach things. I'm also against how a lot of brothers and sisters try to use too many big words for no reason at all. I don't like that. There's no point for you to use all these big words. There's no real point to. Those conscious community people, those conscious cats do that just to sound smart. And they're not smart at all. Just because you know a lot of big words doesn't make you smart. All right. You don't need to use all those big words in one whole big sentence to make yourself sound smart. Shut the hell up. Just stop talking. You're confusing everything because not everyone knows those words. And then they make up some excuse saying I say these big words because I don't, my people are not. No, just shut up. We're not calling our people dumb by not knowing these big words. It's simply because these words are not used often. Not everyone is going to know them. So they're not going to understand what the hell you're saying, and they're not going to understand the message. So you don't want to use those big words all the time. That's why the conscious community they don't know no better, and they should just give up and stop. All right, but that's what and so going back to vocabulary, you want to know as many words as possible. If you really want to know a language and master a language, you want to know as many words as possible. Just a bunch of words, a bunch of words, a bunch of words. So look up. I'm gonna send these things to y'all. Know your nouns, know your verbs. Know your nouns, know your verbs. And then eventually, once we get into grammar, which we've been doing, you're going to start catching on. And then once we start getting more back into conjugating verbs and things like that, you're going to start being like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Okay. And then you're going to be able to start trying to speak fluently. But, that'll come over time. I'm going to send that Bible to you as well so you guys can practice reading the Hebrew. The best thing to do is to just read, 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 read. If you can read, right, you can speak. All right. Oh, well, what was that one? Oh man, back in the day, it was something off the electrical company. Goddamn. It was back in the day. The electrical company said something so heavy. I forgot what it was. It said if you can write, you can read. If you can read, you can speak. I believe I'm saying it right in that order. If you can write, then you can read. If you can read, then you can speak. And there's some truth in that. All right. If you can write the Hebrew, then eventually let's read the Hebrew. Eventually we can read the Hebrew, then you can speak the Hebrew. Baby step it. Write it by taking notes. Read it by studying those notes. Reading the Bible. And then put it into practical knowledge. Then practically use it by speaking it. That's why we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, all right? So just keep that in mind, y'all. All right. All right. So with that, shalom, Yahweh Shem Yashar Brakatham to the brothers. All right. Make sure you got, I'm gonna send those notes to y'all. All right. And then shalom, Yahweh Shamar, Alathan Bashem Yahweh to the sisters. All right, shalom.